Hello, hello, good morning, continuous liners. Muy buenos dias this Thursday morning. How are we all doing today? Second day of continuous line selfie. It's hard. It's not easy. It's quick. It can go by. It can be done in a second, but in those few seconds, it can be hard. You know why? Because it's a whole ego thing. This is why I have part of my curriculum, part of the continuous line practice, is that we draw nothing in the beginning. You know why? Because then your ego doesn't have time to be like, oh, you're not very good at drawing, are you? Oh my God, you think that's a coffee cup? I beg to differ, right? So the first thing that we do when we're doing our continuous line practice, hello, good morning, I'm gonna have a little latte here. Yeah. It's a little challenging for me to find cafes in San Miguel that, first of all, aren't screaming music and aren't full of tourists, right? It's everything is crowded and, yeah, you know, compared to Mexico City, like I am missing the cafes in Mexico City. San Miguel, everything's inside with music. They even have like that Hawaiian song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You know, a song that is really supposed to kind of relax you, and it is just annoying me at this time. Anyways, what am I saying here? Oh yeah, the whole continuous line practice is to calm myself down, right? But it's also to get my ego to step out of the way, because when we start drawing, the ego jumps right in and is like, oh my God, you think you can draw, right? And so if you do some line warm-ups to get the jitters out, it kind of just takes the anxiety, it just knocks the anxiety down a notch or two. And really, sometimes that's all it takes to keep you drawing, right? To keep you engaged in your art practice, because, you know, it kind of reminds me of a story of my uncle Buzz, who he had to give up drinking, right? He was, I don't know if it was court mandated or whatever, but he had to give up drinking. And I remember the story. I don't remember that, but I remember years later he said it was, all it took was one bad chicken dinner, and he started drinking again. Now, it's not funny that, you know, I'm not trying to make fun of alcoholism, but I just, the joke is that it just took one bad chicken dinner and he was back to his old habits, right? So don't let that one bad, like, juju, that one, like, you know, like, oh, you just, don't let things get in your way, right? If you want to have a drawing practice, you got to do it. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? Sometimes I mean, we all have off days where, and I certainly do too, where I'm just like, you know what, I can't draw. I don't know how to draw. I have forgotten everything that I've learned, everything that I've practiced. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And it can be very overwhelming, and it can stop us in our tracks, right? So you got to work hard. You got to work hard to get past that monkey mind, right? You just got to keep going. You got to keep going, even when it's a little uncomfortable. You know why? Because even the bad drawings teach us things, right? The bad drawings teach us things. There's a couple of new gals that are doing this selfie drawing thing, and one of the gals said in a comment to me this morning, I've never felt so ugly in my life, right? And I talked about that yesterday, right? Like the whole thing, like, you know, sometimes I'm going to draw myself wretchedly. Sometimes it's just not going to come out right. But honestly, here's why I actually drew my selfie this morning, because it's hard drawing it online with you all. It's just more like I'm trying to like be engaging, and I'm trying to think about camera stuff and being on live, and then also trying to draw myself, which is tricky. Honestly, I'm here to tell you it's tricky. So before I got my coffee delivered, I just, I drew myself, right? Once again, a little thinner than what I am. Maybe it's called manifestation, right? Like if you build it, it will come. If I build myself thinner, I will magically become thinner. Now, so what I was just trying to work on, it was just being simple with my lines, right? Because the continuous line selfie, what it teaches you, like I don't quite have my face right, but almost, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. And so, like, as you're drawing yourself, you maybe start to look like, okay, I'm just, for example, my table's wobbly. For example, right? Like, I kind of have a big egghead. My forehead goes up kind of high, right? So if I draw my forehead to here, it's not going to look right, right? So I have to kind of go up a little higher than what feels natural. And then my hair, well, today I kind of have it in, like, I'm not on my moto scooter, so I've got helmet hair. But my hair still kind of goes another, well, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches up, right? And so then let me take this glasses off for a moment. Coming around the face, there's an indentation, and then it comes out. Look how close I am to the crow's feet. The crow's feet are right there. And then right here, then there's a hint of an ear. You can't really see it because of my hair. But look, my hair even comes out like this, right? So then traveling down here, this is where I can sometimes get in trouble, because this is the part of the face that, with age, is elongated, right? Like when we're young and supple, our cheeks are up like this. But then as we get older, that comes down like this, and then come the jowls, right? Then come the good times. I mean, in the grand scheme of jowls, I don't think they're horrendous. Just you wait, though. There's more to come. So let's see. Did I even hit it? A little bit. I didn't get too much, but this is where I kind of paused right here on this jowl. And you know what I did is I just went up, right? I went up to this. So I'm trying in one line to get the mathematics of my face, right? Because that's all it is, right? The space of my face, the difference between my eyes and the how long my face is, the lines here, my chin, this indentation, the lips. Now the lips are always tricky. Lips and teeth, mouths, those are tricky when you're drawing it. So I try to just go through them very quickly, because very quickly the whole mouth thing can get very hillbilly. So I just did very simply bottom line, middle line, and upper lip, and then I went right up to my nostril, right? And the second nostril and line came at the end. I don't know why I did it. My pen just went there, because from the nostril, I went up into my eyebrow, and then I went up into my eye, and I still didn't get the right age of my face. I'm still looking rather young. So what I did is I tried to put some lines in there to just give myself some age. I mean, having done this a number of times, I know that that's kind of what I spend the first few days, weeks, figuring out how to age myself through one line, right? And then, you know, even though my hair's kind of pulled back for the helmet, I just was like, I don't care. I'm just going to get lost in my hair, because it's fun, and it's a way for me to just sort of calm myself down, right? So I put all kinds of crazy hair. I've got these beautiful earrings that I got in Mexico City. Look at that. They're just like these beautiful eyeballs, right? And so I just kind of gave a hint to them. Now, if I were to paint this, I could make them stand out a little bit more. And then my very thin neckline, which, you know, in the grand, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. So, you know, is it... Here, wait, let me do this. Okay, it's not bad, right? But with practice, it gets easier. And with practice, you start to understand what your spatial dimensions are, right? And this is why we're doing the selfie practice, because it's honestly one of the hardest things to do, to draw yourself in one continuous line. I mean, I would much rather draw my coffee, or, you know, that plant, or the dog, whatever. It's because it's easier to kind of just skate your way through it. When you're drawing yourself, you're going, oh my God, look at me. Oh God, I didn't get all the wrinkles, or I got too many wrinkles, or I got my nose is too big. And like the gal said this morning, I've never felt so ugly in my life, right? it's part of the process, and I go through it too, and I'm here to tell you that we're going to survive it, and we just got to keep pushing through, because this is a really good practice. Maybe I'm painting it to be kind of like, oh my God, it's so hard. I mean, drawing can be hard. Just like anything skilled, anything that requires skill. You know, there's people who go to school and, go through years and years of education to become a top-notch, top-tier illustrator, right? So it's not something that you just wake up and you start doing. It is something that in some arenas requires years and years of education and practice, right? Like I have spoken with enough illustrators back when I used to write for Urban Sketchers, and I used to interview a lot of the artists. I just got really clear that there's no shortcuts, and the way through it is practice. I got super, super, super clear. Like, you can go to the best school, you can buy the best art supplies, you can be in the prettiest locations, but if you don't practice, practice, I mean, if you do a little bit of practicing, you're going to get a little bit better, right? If you do a lot of practicing, you're going to get a lot better. What am I trying to say? You're going to get better faster. And faster isn't the goal, but like when that whole pandemic thing, remember that whole pandemic thing? When that came down the pike and we were all told to stay in our house, God, remember that? And I had just gotten my 2 doggies, so I had my 2 dogs. I had 2 people, 2 creatures to talk to and take care of. And I just remember thinking to myself, well, I don't know what this is. I don't know if we're all going to die. I don't know what in the world this is. But whatever it is, I am going to use this time to improve my drawing. Not just draw things, but I'm going to use this time to improve my drawing, because it is a priority to me, and it is something that has become very important to me. And, is it a hobby? Yeah, sure, it's a hobby, just like riding a bike is. And what else do I do? It's a hobby, but it's also my career, right? It is something that, in that transition of like, well, it was offering workshops at that time, but before COVID, I wasn't really teaching because I knew I wasn't at a level where I should be teaching. I knew that, especially because I knew I wanted to be an illustrator, not just like a watercolorist, and I'm not trying to knock watercolorists, but that's not my deal. That's not my forte, watercolor. I like to know how to do it. I have practiced it. I have studied it, but it's never been my main thing. Illustration has been my main thing, right? And so to just say, oh yeah, I'm going to teach drawing, right? Well, I think that you really have to have some chops behind you. You really have to have some chops, right? And I knew that. And so I used those pandemic days when we were all trapped in the bunker to practice, and elevate my skill. And it was in that I discovered the continuous line and the curriculum I built around it as a way to build skill. And that didn't involve going back to a university, right? I'm not knocking universities, but I just, that was something I just did not want to do. I wanted to just do it on my own. I mean, honestly, when I was a young adult, I was unemployed one winter in Chicago, and I used that time to train myself to be a graphic designer in the latest graphic design software. And I got, I was then hired. Well, my first gig was with Kraft Foods. That's who I got hired by. And then so I had years as a graphic designer, but I was self-taught, and I'm not knocking the folks that go to school for that, because it's an important thing, and I know I missed out on a lot of important elements that I didn't have time to learn because I was trying to make a living, right? So I was self-taught graphic designer, and when the whole pandemic hit, I'm like, this is my university for illustration. This is my university for illustration. And hopefully I'll survive, right? And the rest of the world will too, because, in those early days, my God, right? That's all I'll say, my God. And not that we're even out of the my God, right? It's still kind of a, it's kind of a jump ball at this point, right? So this is why I do what I do, why I encourage my community to, you know, because I know plenty of people now, because the community is growing, who drawing is important to them. It is an important and vital part of their day. It's important to practice. It's important to be part of a community, and then it's important to continue to learn, right? So that is the community and the pillars of the community that I am building. And the continuous line, first of all, continuous line urban sketching is hard, right? Until you get used to it. It's tricky, right? But then once you get used to it, you're like, wow, this is the coolest thing. Continuous line selfies are like, oh my God, what am I doing? I look like a monster. I look like I'm 3,000 years old. I look like I'm ugly and just horrendous, right? Well, so what? Because, you know, tomorrow's a new day, and thankfully and ideally and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to draw ourselves again tomorrow and the next day and the next day, every day for the month of May. And at the end of May, I guarantee you there's this feeling of like, oh my God, look what I just did. Look at all these crazy drawings I did of myself, right? This one is horrendous. Oh my God, look at how just I look like I'm 12,000 years old and a monster, right? But look at how cute I look in this one. I am adorable. So go easy on yourself, go easy on others. Huge part of the continuous line practice. You got to go easy on yourself and go easy on others, because it's so easy just to shoot yourself in the foot and have one bad chicken dinner and you just go back to like, that's it, I'm not drawing ever again. I'm never drawing again. So we don't need to do that to ourselves. We do things like have a continuous line drawing warm-up where literally not drawing anything, except I do finish big with a heart, because I think it's muy importante for my own mental state to just remind myself to go easy on myself. Because, I mean, honestly, aren't we all very hard on ourselves? Like, oh my God, I'm the worst. Oh my God, I'm a fraud. Oh my God. Don't tell me my pen is dead. Look at that, it's even out of ink. Boy, that was quick. I don't think I've ever, I guess it's over. It's over. Well, here, I want to finish that heart. Finish big with a heart. It's actually looking like a whale, and so I want to finish my whale of a heart. Actually, I'm going to put a little eyeball on him and a little, there we go. There, so I made a little whale of my heart as a reminder to go easy on myself and easy on others. So I am loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving all your continuous line selfies. I'm seeing them. I wake up early and I cruise through the phone and I see continuous line selfies all around the world. Well, not exactly all around the world, but all over the internets, right? And I love it. So keep doing it, keep going. It does get easier and it gets funnier. It really does get funny, because then some of these, like, in some of them, go ahead, just make yourself as ugly as possible. Just make it ugly. Make it ugly and just own it, right? That's what I'm going to do. This one I look kind of like studious and thin and thoughtful. The next one I'm going to be hideous, all right? So stay tuned for tomorrow, where I am going to be hideous. Join me on May 3rd of being hideous, okay? Everyone have a great day. Keep drawing yourselves. Keep telling your stories through your line. Practice, practice, practice. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye, everyone. Thank you. Ha!